So let us solve this another sway frame. So this is the problem which is already solved using the slope deflection. As I told you earlier that we are solving most of the problems which are already solved in the slope deflection itself, just to verify the solution that you get and also to make your solution part easier, because you need to write the slope deflection equation again to solve the end moment. So I am just trying to simplify it, and I am using the same problems or the same frames which are already analyzed in the slope deflection. Okay, anyhow, so as we know, this is your frame which is going to sway. So the condition which satisfies the sway are the first, that there is a horizontal force and there is no restraint over this side, and there are unequal legs and unequal distribution of load, all of this. Okay, so this makes the frame, this frame to sway. Okay, so what we'll do is that first we'll identify what is our kinematic indeterminacy. So as we know, there is kinematic indeterminacy which is called horizontal translation of this entire frame. Then there is a rotation at joint B and there is a rotation at joint C. Okay, so what we need to do is that we need to take the same frame and we have to apply the unit displacement, which is our first coordinate, and then we need to analyze the forces and the moments that are generated because of application of unit displacement. And in the next coordinate, which is second coordinate, we need to apply unit rotation at joint B, and we need to solve again the forces and moments that are created. And again for the third condition, we need to apply the unit rotation at the third coordinate, and we need to define the forces. Okay, so let us begin one by one. What we will do first is that we will apply the unit displacement. So you know, in the previous video I have often used the term called as unit force. I'm sorry, I would like to apologize on that. It's actually the unit displacement. So what we do is that we make this frame to displace with a unit value. It may be 1 mm, 1 centimeter or whatever. So if we make this displace by one unit value, so the moment that are generated are minus 6 EI delta divided by 4 square. As we know, delta is equals to 1, so this will become minus 6 EI divided by 4 square. As we know, the length of this column is 4 meter, and similarly on the far end also the moment that is created is 6 EI divided by 4 square, which we already know. Now this column will also sway and this column is also going to sway. So here also minus 6 EI divided by 3 square, because the length of the member CD is 3, and similarly on the rear side also it will be minus 6 EI divided by 3 square. Okay, so previously I told you to find out how much is the horizontal reaction that will be generated at the end A and D. Okay, so the reaction that is generated over here will be equals to minus 6 EI divided by 4 square minus of 6 EI divided by 4 square divided by L will be there. Okay, so if you try to find out how much is the reaction here, it will be 12 EI divided by 4 cube. Okay, so you need to take the sum of all the moments at this joint equal to 0, and then you can define how much is the reaction over here. It will be 12 EI divided by 4 cube. Now similarly the reaction over here will be 12 EI divided by 3 cube. Okay, so once you solve all the reactions and once you determine all the movements that are created because of unit displacement, what we do is that the force that is to be applied here will be equivalent to the sum of these two reactions. Okay, considering the summation of horizontal force equal to 0 condition, we need the force that is to be applied here will be equivalent to the sum of these two forces. So 12 EI divided by 4 cube plus of 12 EI divided by 3 cube will be the force that is being applied here to create unit displacement. So here the value is 12 EI into bracket 1 divided by 4 cube plus 1 divided by 3 cube. So this completes the first coordinate. So in the first coordinate we need to apply the unit displacement. Okay, this is done. Now what is the next step? Next step is to determine the moments and forces by applying the unit rotation at joint B. So at joint B we are applying the unit rotation. So here the moment that is required is 4 EI divided by 4, and for span BA also 4 EI by 4 is there. So once you determine that, you carry over the moments to the far end, which is 2 EI by 4 and 2 EI by 4. You can determine how much is the reaction that is generated here. So how much it will be if you take the sum of all the moments at this point equal to 0, you will determine how much is the reaction. So the reaction I will get is minus 6 EI divided by 4 square. So if the force that is generated over here will be equal to minus 6 EI divided by 4 square itself. Okay, like this we have calculated how much will be the forces and movements at our first coordinate, second coordinate and third coordinate when applied unit rotation at the second coordinate. Okay, now that is done. Now what we'll do is we'll go to the third coordinate. At the third coordinate again we are applying the unit rotation. So here this is the length which is CD. I'm applying a unit rotation. So here the moment that is generated is 4EI by 3, and at the far end it will be 2EI by 3. Similarly 4EI by 4 for member CB, and at the far end it will be 2EI by 4. Okay, now let us again calculate how much is the reaction here. So the reaction here will be equal to 4EI by 3 plus 2EI by 3, which will be 6EI by 3 divided by the length, which is 6EI by 3 square. If it goes to the other side, it will be minus 6EI divided by 3 square. So this reaction will be the force that will be applied at the first coordinate. Okay, so this completes the process of finding out the stiffness matrix. Okay, so to calculate the stiffness matrix, we had applied the unit displacement at first, second and third coordinates, and we found out all the forces and moments. So once this is done, what we do is we formulate our stiffness matrix. So in formulating the stiffness matrix, what we do in the first column, what we do is that we find out what if there is a unit displacement applied at the first coordinate, and we determine the forces along the first, second and third coordinate. So the displacement here is unit displacement. So this is your first coordinate, and the force that is required to create that is 12EI into bracket 1 by 4 cube plus 1 by 3 cube. So that is written here. So unit displacement and force required to create unit displacement at the first coordinate is given here. Now the next thing is how much is the moment that is generated at the second coordinate because of application of unit rotation at the first coordinate is minus 6 divided by 4 cube. Now similarly at the third coordinate is minus 6 divided by 3 cube. So this completes the first column. Now we can go to the second column. So when you go to this second column, what we do, we are going to apply the unit rotation at the second coordinate, and we are determining how much is the force that is created at the first coordinate, which is minus 6EI divided by 4 square. Next again the unit rotation is applied at the second coordinate, and moments at the second coordinate will be equal to 4EI by 4 plus of 4EI by 4, which is 8 by 4. Now at the third coordinate the moment is 2EI by 4. Okay, EI I have taken common. Now this completes the first and second column with respect to the unit displacement applied at first and second coordinates. Now the last one is third coordinate. At the third coordinate again we are applying the unit displacement as we know. So the moment that is created at the third coordinate, and because of the application of unit rotation at the third coordinate is this much, 4 into bracket 1 by 4 plus 1 by 3. Okay, so as we know these terms already, so this is your force that is generated because of application of unit rotation at the third coordinate, which is minus 6EI divided by 3 square, and this is 2 by 4. Okay, so the moment is the rotation is applied at the third coordinate, and the moment that is created is 2EI by 4, that is written here. So this completes your stiffness matrix. So once you complete the stiffness matrix, the next step is to determine the force matrix. So how do you define the force matrix? We need to first calculate how much is your moment. Okay, fixed end moment. So this is your column which has been subjected to a load of 60 kilonewton. So find out the fixed end moment, which is MFAB and MFBA. Similarly, this is a beam which is subjected to a UDL of 40 kilonewton per meter. Find out the fixed end moment for member BC, MFBC and MFCB. So I have written all these values. From this we are going to calculate the force matrix. So you already know how to calculate the forces along the second and third coordinate, right? So what we do for second and third coordinate, the force along second and third coordinate will be the summation of fixed moments at that particular coordinates, right? Now for example, if I want you to calculate how much is the force along the second coordinate, what you do is that you take the sum of 30 minus of 53.34, it will give you the force along the second coordinate. At third coordinate it is 53.34. So what is to be written along the first coordinate? So to do that, what we do is that we calculate how much is the reaction. Okay, how much is the reaction that is generated at this point. Okay, so we already know how much is the force here. So the force being applied is 60 kilonewton. So because of that, consider this to be simply supported. So if you consider this to be simply supported, the reaction will be 30 kilonewton and 30 kilonewton. Okay, so as we know, this is your positive direction, this will become negative direction. So see here, this is the force matrix that I have written. So along the first coordinate, here is your first coordinate. So at the first coordinate, the force that is applied is 30 kilonewton, but it is negative of value. And you know how we calculate this 30 kilonewton. Consider this column to be simply supported. So after considering simply supported, you will calculate the reaction. Whatever the reaction that you get at the first coordinate should be written here. So the reaction that I got at the first coordinate is 30 and which is negative 30, so I have written minus 30. Now the next is your theta b. Okay, so the force at the second coordinate is 30 minus 53.34, which is minus 23.34. Similarly, at the third coordinate it is 53.34. I told you earlier that we need to apply negative symbol to this force matrix. Okay, so negative of this is this. So the force matrix is 30, 23.34 minus 53.34. So you know how much is your stiffness matrix, you know how much is your force matrix. Let us calculate the displacement matrix. In displacement matrix, first is our delta value. Okay, second is your theta b value, the third is our theta c value according to the coordinate system that we assigned. Okay, so what the value what we get here is ei delta, ei theta b, ei theta c. So how do we solve this? By multiplying the inverse of stiffness matrix with the force matrix, we can calculate how much is our displacement matrix. So the displacement matrix values are ei delta is 46, ei theta b is 24, ei theta c value is 14.84. Okay, so once you solve all the displacement values, both your translation and rotation values, next thing what you do is you solve the end moments using the slope deflection equation. So you already know what is MAB. MAB is equals to MFAB plus of 2 EI by L into bracket 2 theta A plus theta B minus 3 delta by L. Okay, so you know this, right? So MAB is equals to MFAB. How much is MFAB? We have already solved how much is MFAB, which is minus 30. Okay, plus of 2 EI. Let us consider that we have multiplied EI inside. So it means what? 2 by L is there. So 2 divided by length of this column is 4. So 2 by 4 into bracket theta A is equals to 0, theta B is equals to, here we know that. How much is theta B? 24.018. So EI theta B is equals to 24.018, which is written here. Minus of 3 by 4 is representing, so 3 by L. So L is 4 meter, so 3 by L multiplied by EI delta value. How much is EI delta value? EI delta value is 46.06, which has been multiplied here. And after solving the end moment MAB, this is the value I got, and you can verify the value that we got from the stiffness matrix method, and compare it with the slope deflection and see how much value you are getting. Okay, now I have solved only one of the end moments. You can solve the other end moments, which is MBA, MBC, MCB and MCD and MDC. So all of these values, and we have already drawn the shear force and bending moment diagram. If you want to revise or if you want to draw another time, you draw it. Okay, so if you have any doubt in solving this sway problem or sway frame, you can ask me the question. Or if you find any other interesting problem which is a sway problem or a non-sway, it doesn't matter. So if you want to solve using the stiffness method, send it to me, I'll solve it over here. Okay, thank you.